I am back. All right, people. Hey, you know what? I don't know what it's doing outside your window, but it might be doing some of this stuff this song is about. So if it is, I'm hoping you're having an exciting time. If it's just rain, then we've seen enough of that in the last. But I'm hoping that maybe it's that other stuff that this song talks about. All right, but to keep you entertained today, we've actually got a hands-on couple of little experiments here we're going to talk about. So I'm fired up about that. So if you know the name of this song, of course, you can email it to me later and get you an extra little 5 points, and that'll be good. All right, so let's get down to it. We got a lot of little stuff to talk about today. So you might want to pause it right here if you need to go get a quarter or some kind of coin, and if you can find you a paper clip. Okay, those are probably a couple of good things. So you might need to pause it right here and go scarf those up before you go any further. So if you need to get them, just hit the pause button and go get you a coin and a paper clip if you can find it. All right, I'll count to 5 before I start anything else. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm carrying on now. All right, I'm going to slide them over to the side. So today we're going to talk a little bit about probability experiments, but the first thing I want to talk to you about is a couple of words, and I think I talked about these a while back before Christmas, but I think it's probably good that I talk about them again. We're going to talk about
theory versus experiment. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of make me a little T-chart here. Alright, you may also hear it called theoretical. Okay, theoretical probability. So a theory comes from your mind. Okay, this is coming from your mind. This is what you think should happen. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a few seconds. Okay, but just get down to the theory, of course, is what you come up with in your mind, and that is what you think should happen. Okay, now experiment is when you actually put that theory to the test. So this is where you test out your theory. Okay, and when you experiment, of course, you actually get some results. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the theoretical probability of what we're going to do. Then we're going to test it out and actually get some results, and we're going to make some comparisons between those two. Okay, so this is a couple of fun little things you can do here. I'm going to try to run through a couple of different little experiments, and then of course I'll have some questions for you on your Google quiz form. So you're going to have some little charts and stuff you can send me some pictures of. For all you jokers out there that aren't sending me pictures, I'm just going to say this. All right, we're halfway through the school year, and my expectation has not changed. When you do math every day, send me a picture. That is part of the requirement of you working in this class. I expect a picture every day that we do work, quizzes, tests, experiments, whatever. You can attach it on Google Classroom, or you can email it to me. But if you do not send me a picture, then the highest grade I'm going to give you on an assignment is a 50. If you make 100 on the Google Classroom form, good for you. Send me a picture so I can give you 100. If you don't send me a picture, the highest grade I'm going to give you is a 50. No questions asked, period. End of story. I'm not talking about it anymore. If you don't send me a picture, you're not going to make 100, you're not going to make a 90, you're going to make a 50. And so there's the end of that. All right. So first thing I want to talk about is the coin here. Okay. So I've got a little coin. Of course, it's got heads and it's got tails, right? It's got heads and tails. Yours may be different, but I've got a quarter. It's got the heads on it, and then it's got Connecticut on the back. I don't know if you can see the little tree on the back of it. All right, for Connecticut. So there you go. So we got heads and tails. So theoretically, okay, so let's talk about the coin. Theoretically, okay, let's talk about this. Let's say we flip the coin 30 times, okay? Theoretically, we're flipping it 30 times. Theoretically, how many heads should I get? And how many tails should I get? Right? So theoretically, you should get how many heads, how many tails? All right. So there is a 1 out of 2 chance of getting heads. There is a 1 out of 2 chance of getting tails. So to get heads, you do 30 times a half, and to get tails, you do 30 times a half. Well, what's half of 30, smart folks? Half of 30 is 15 times. All right, and then tails would also be 15 times. So theoretically, okay, in our mind, we should get tails 15 times. We should get heads 15 times. That's theory. Now, we're going to test it out, okay? We're going to do heads. We're going to do tails. Okay? I'm going to flip it 30 times, okay? Which I already have done, okay? So I did it before I started just so I could have my number. So when I did it, okay, now you can do little tally marks or whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what I ended up getting, okay? I got 10 heads and I got 20 tails. Now, of course, you add those two numbers up, that gives you a grand total of 30, right? 10 plus 20 is 30. So my experimental results over here are not exactly like my theoretical results. Theoretically, I was thinking I was going to get 15 heads and 15 tails. Well, when I actually flipped the coin, I got 10 heads and 20 tails. So you can see that they are not exactly a match, but that's okay. All right. Now, if I did it again, I might probably get some different results. I probably wouldn't get 10 heads and 20 tails if I did it again. So what I want you to do, okay, I want you to pause the video here in just 1 second, and I want you to toss the coin 30 times. Okay, so 30 coin tosses. All right, you're going to do a little heads and tails. All right, you can make a little chart like this if you want to. All right, and see what kind of experimental results you get. Okay, so again, theoretically, you should get 15 heads and 15 tails. Okay, so that's, I'm going to put T, 15. That's the theory. And the theory over here is you're going to get 15. So you should get 15 of each theoretically. So I want you to go through here, make your little tally marks, flip your coin 30 times, and see what you get. Okay? So I'm going to say right here, you need to pause the video for just a minute. I'm going to count to 5, and then you can cut it back on in just a second. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, hopefully you've done your 30 coin tosses. So, maybe you did get 15 and 15. Or maybe you did like me and you got 10 and 20. Or maybe you got 13 and 17 or whatever. Okay? It's probably not very likely that you got 30 heads and 0 tails, or you got 30 tails and 0 heads. Okay? It's not likely. Could have done that. Okay? And if that did happen, email me and let me know, hey, I got all 30 of one in a row. I'd love to know that, but I doubt that that happened. Okay? So just make sure you count up your little tally marks like I did over here and come up with a number of each one. Okay? So there's a little heads and tails coin flipping experience. Now, I am going to talk to you about how to do a little spinner, okay, using the paper clip, okay, right now, and then I'll show you how to pull one up on the computer on the internet if you'd rather use one on there. But if you actually want to spin it, and have fun spinning the little paper clip around, I'm getting ready to talk to you about that. Okay? So now we're going to go to the spinner question. Spinner. All right. So we're going to do 4 sections. I'm just going to draw me a little circle on there best I can. Okay? And I'm going to divide it up into 4 sections like so. Try to draw it in 4 equal sections. All right. I'm going to put a little color on here. So I'm going to say this one I'm going to do green, blue, black, white. All right, so those are my 4 colors. Okay, green. I'll even put a little green in there. There's green. There's blue, black, and white. Okay, so now as you look at this spinner, how much of that spinner is green? If I said, what's the probability of spinning green? Okay, the probability of green is what? Well, there's 1 green section out of 4, right? So the theoretical probability, okay, is 1/4. What's the probability that you get blue on that spinner? Okay, the theoretical probability of blue is also 1/4. What's the probability you get black? I hear you saying it. 1/4. What's the probability of white? Sing all day, dance all night. What's the probability of white? 1/4. Okay, so they all have an equal chance of occurring. Of course, if you change it to a decimal, can y'all tell me what the decimal is for a fourth? A quarter, right? A quarter, which would be 0.25, or if you change it to a percentage, of course, each one of those is 25%. So you got a 25% chance of getting green, 25% chance of blue, 25% chance of black, 25% chance of white. All right, so now let's pretend, okay, I'm going to kind of go back up here and do like we did earlier. Theoretically, if I spin this spinner 40 times, okay, so theoretically,
I'm just thinking about it, okay? I'm going to spin it 40 times, spin my little spinner. Theoretically, how many times should I get green, blue, black, and white? Well, that would be 40 times a fourth, 40 times a fourth, 40 times a fourth, and 40 times a fourth. So they're all going to be the same, so I'm just going to do it right here. What is 40 times 1/4? Well, what's a fourth of 40? If you take 40 and divide it by 4, what do you get? 10, right? So you should get 10 green, 10 blue, 10 black, 10 white. That is the theory, okay? That if you do it 40 times, theoretically, you should get them each 10 times apiece. Is that probably going to happen in the experiment? Probably not. Okay? Probably not going to happen. All right. So if you want to do it for real, okay, where you actually spin it, just take your pen, pencil, whatever you got right there, and just take it and fling that around and chart it. Okay. So that one would be a white. Okay. And fling it around again. That would be a black. That would be a green. That would be a green. Just make sure you got it pulled over to the edge there. That's a white. Okay, if it kind of comes up on the line, just pick the one that it goes in more. There's a blue, so forth and so on. And again, green. You can just make your little tally marks and find out how much you want to. Got to do it 40 times. Okay, grand total of 40. Now, if you're not a patient person and you don't have, or maybe you don't have a paper clip, or you can't do it that way, here's your next option. Okay, here's the website you need to go to. Go to NCTM. Search that, NCTM adjustable spinner. Adjustable spinner. I'm going to change it and I'm going to put the camera on the computer, okay, where I've got this pulled up. So I'm getting ready to change the view here. I'm going to go from the paper to the website so you can see, just in case you decide to go there. So type in your search bar, NCTM adjustable spinner. I'm going to pull it up here so you can see it, and I'll change the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, so let's see if I can switch it to this. Can y'all see that? I hope you can. Alright, let me switch back and make sure I'm holding it in the right spot. Ooh, baby. Alright, ain't that pretty? Okay, so if you can see it from there, you can see this is what it pops up. I think it pops up with having 6 sections. Okay, right here where it says number of sectors, I want you to go and change that to 4. So it looks kind of like that. And if you want to rename them and stuff, it tells you how to go down here in the directions, how to rename them. If you want to rename them, change the colors or whatever. All right. And then right here, I'm going to put in number of spins as 40. Okay. Now you can spin them one at a time if you want to, and watch it spin around. So that'd be yellow, so forth and so on. It does it automatically. Okay. It goes through and counts them, and you can watch it spin. If it makes you happy to watch them spin over there, you can just watch it spin all you want to. Okay. Or you can just hit skip to the end and it'll give you the numbers. Alright, so I'm going to kind of tie those into the numbers over here. So let's come back to this now. I'll show you one more time. Alright, so it said blue was 14, yellow was 8, yellow was 8, cyan was 8, red was 10. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of tie that into what colors we got over here. Let me switch back to my camera view. Alright, so it says
They got 14 blue. The other color was yellow, so I'll just make the greens kind of close to yellow. So I'll say yellow was 8. Didn't really have one that was black. So cyan was 8, and red was 10. All right, so there's the experimental results. All right, let's just say that we're going to use those. Okay, so that would be 8 out of 40, 14 out of 40, another 8 out of 40, and 10 out of 40. So if you had to write them as a fraction, you'd do them that way. Okay. All of these, of course, can simplify because you can divide all this stuff by 2. So if you wanted to, even this one you can divide by 8. 8 goes into 8 one time. 8 goes into 45 times. So that would reduce to 1/5. Both of those you could divide by 2, and that would be 7/20. And divide that again by 8, and that one would be 1/5. And divide that one by 10, right? 10 goes into 10 once, 10 goes into 40 4 times. So that one actually would reduce to 1/4. So you can see the only one that worked out being 10 was the last one, which on the spinner thing that I did was red, but you know, whatever. One of them ended up being 10, one of them being 14, 2 of them being 8. So they're all pretty close to 10, but this is the only one down here that was actually 10 that matched up with the theory, okay? So remember, there's a little difference between theory, which is what you think should happen, versus the experiment and what actually does happen, okay? So we'll have some questions about that. Make sure you send me a picture of your little stuff here, whatever you're doing. Write down your little table and everything. And I hope you have a fantastic day. If you got any questions, just let me know, okay? Ciao, baby.